Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I have had so much fun, lo and behold, talking about Descendants of Zombies for a global audience. I never ever thought this YouTube channel would receive the response that it had, but because of each and every one of you, this YouTube channel has gone on to, lo and behold, become the most popular Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel in the world. And I have each and every one of you to thank for that. Did I ever think I'd be sitting here as the host of the most popular Descendants of Zombies podcast in the world? I most certainly didn't. But I had the honor of not just talking about Descendants of Zombies. I had the honor of meeting so many wonderful people who came together to create something special for every fan of Descendants of Zombies. And that's what means the world to me. I have forever and always held a special place in my heart for every fan of Descendants of Zombies because I know what it's like to be each and every one of you. And I know what it's like to celebrate these franchises. And that is what we have done together. We haven't celebrated these franchises by ourselves. We came together and we created something special for every fan of Descendants of Zombies who we would touch the hearts of for many years. It's been a decade, and it's been an incredible decade that I will never, ever forget, talking with Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, and eventually moving on from that to Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, Ruby Rose Turner, who you guys know I have the biggest crush in the world on. I have the biggest crush in the world on Ruby Rose Turner, and I have never been afraid to let the world know how I feel about Ruby. And I've just loved being here talking about all these moments that have made us fans of Descendants of Zombies. Moments that have really defined us for being fans of Descendants of Zombies, because many of us loved a certain song like Red and Life is Sweeter When You Are and Get Your Hands Dirty and If Only and Space Between. These were songs that really defined us as being fans of Descendants of Zombies. Not only did we have a powerful score for the Descendants franchise, we had a powerful script that we felt a part of, because every single scene in Descendants especially, we felt as if we were a part of something special, and we were going to be a part of something special, as if forever and always we were meant to be a part of this. And I say this because in order to believe in Descendants of Zombies, you really got to understand this script. And it doesn't mean that you have to sit down and forever and always analyze this script. You've just got to understand your audience, and you've got to build a relationship between yourself as the host of a show on YouTube and your audience, because your audience feels very differently about Descendants of Zombies than what any host on YouTube has ever felt. And I think until you grasp the concept of how much Descendants of Zombies has touched your heart and how far this franchise actually goes, I think the greater appreciation will not only come from your fans, but it will come from you as the host of this show. Because I think a lot of people have tried to really understand Descendants of Zombies, have really tried to illustrate how far Descendants of Zombies has come, but they have drastically failed, because they could never really understand how somebody feels about Descendants of Zombies. The reality of life is that there is somebody out there today who wants to watch the best Descendants of Zombies videos that she can, because 95% of the audience when it comes to Descendants of Zombies are all girls. So what you've got to do is you really got to put yourself in the position of the fan of Descendants of Zombies and say, okay, as a YouTube creator, I have to go above and beyond the requirements of any YouTube creator farther than any YouTube creator has ever gone before. And I know that sounds very reminiscent of Buzz Lightyear, but I really put myself in the position of somebody who is a fan. And I speak a lot of the time from the perspective of a fan because I think that is the most powerful way, and by far the most effective way, of ever talking about Descendants of Zombies. You really got to think about the person watching your video because they love the music, they love the script, they have a favorite character, because you become defined through a character like Mel, who was a very different character in the original Descendants, who we very quickly fell in love with. And I have to be honest with each and every one of you, I've been through a lot. I've been through my Dove Cameron phase. I had a lot of respect for Dove Cameron, and I believe that Dove Cameron had come a farther distance than any Descendants character of all time. And I have forever and always held a special place in my heart when it came to Dove Cameron. I could never seem to say enough nice things about Dove Cameron and give her more of a chance than ever before. And then came Sophia Carson and how quickly everybody fell in love with her. And the chemistry for Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson was really blown out of the water. It was a friendship that I could never seem to get enough of. It was a friendship that I could never seem to say enough nice things about. And if I was going to say anything nice about anybody, it was going to be Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson. It was something I became quickly fond of. And I feel like I've forever and always been a part of something special because of Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson. A lot of you felt very special about that song, Space Between, because it was the first ever duet that we had seen between Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson. And I want each and every one of you to know who felt something special from the very first moment that you saw this music video that I really did understand you guys and I really did appreciate you guys, because I would watch every music video, Descendants and Zombies. And to be honest with each and every one of you, the music videos that were being uploaded to Vivo, to Disney Channel's Vivo music page, were incredible for Descendants and Zombies. I had never seen a franchise that would go on to touch the hearts of so many wonderful people. Countless people felt inspired by this music. Countless people felt as if they were a part of something special. And the Descendants and Zombies characters really became a part of your everyday lives. Because every day at school, you would have a conversation with your best friend over Descendants and Zombies. Your conversation would always seem to revolve forever and always around these characters, who eventually went on to become defiant, who eventually went on to become to define you for the person that you were. You had interests in theater, you had interests in music more than ever before, and you began to believe in these characters because they told their own individual stories. Descendants was never a story that focused on probably 2 or 3 characters as a whole. Every individual character who was ever a part of Descendants and Zombies had their own individual story that you eventually gradually fell in love with. For me, it was always Mel, because Mel could tell her own story, and she had these character traits that separated her from every other character in Descendants, because of course there's an appreciation for Alice in Wonderland characters and Cinderella characters that eventually become part of a story that is forever and always going to remain legendary. Because that's the thing about the Descendants characters, is that they will forever and always remain legendary and a part of our lives, because who out there doesn't remember being a fan of Alice in Wonderland? Who out there doesn't remember feeling inspired because of what these characters offered? I think that the Alice in Wonderland story has been told hundreds of times, if not thousands, over the years, and we've gained a greater appreciation, and we've come away from stories like Alice in Wonderland fairy tales that have been represented so phenomenally. Because the thing about the Red character was, she was a very different take on the Queen of Hearts' daughter. I mean, nobody ever thought that Kylie Cantrell would represent the character Red as powerfully as what she did as the Queen of Hearts' daughter. I think that Ruby Rose Turner did a great job putting into emphasis just how much profound impact bullying can have on a person, because you never really know what that person is going through, and we see this every day. So I think that the everyday experiences and the lifelong lessons that we've learned because of characters like Bridget and Red are phenomenal, and these lessons are never ever going to be forgotten, because of course we opened up the rise of Red with this powerful song Red, which really put into perspective how much of a profound impact bullying can really have on a person and how it can really change a person's perspective on life. I think from the very first moment that we saw the Red character, we didn't know quite what to make of her early on, but we knew she was going to be a part of something special. She was going to go on to achieve her own destiny, and that's pretty much what we're doing in our everyday lives, is we're trying to achieve our own destiny. I've been trying to achieve my own destiny of going down in history for being one of the greatest of all time. Do I think I'm going to do that? I really don't know. I've got my doubts, but I know that with the love and support of everybody who has believed that I will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time, and possibly President of the United States, having everything to do with Kylie Cantrell, and how much I believed in her. Of course, I've been very, very supportive of Kylie Cantrell. That's one thing that you guys have probably noticed from every video that I've ever had the honor of uploading. I think that I can never say enough nice things about people like Kylie and Ruby, because they've been there for each other from the very beginning. They have been so supportive of each other and been there for each other every step of the way, and I think that's something that I've really come to admire about Ruby and Kylie, is how supportive they are of each other. And if there's one friendship that I've noticed over the years from Descendants and Zombies fame, it's got to be the friendships of Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, and Ruby Rose Turner. This trio is kind of like the Three Musketeers. Do you guys remember that cartoon where Donald Duck, Goofy, and Mickey, of course, were the Three Musketeers, the Three Mouseketeers, I think it was called? Well, pretty much that's what Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, and Malia Baker's friendship kind of reminds me of, is the Three Musketeers, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy, and how supportive they were of each other. I love having the opportunity to talk about this kind of thing, because I think we can never talk about it enough. And we've shared in so many fun memories over the years. Because to be honest with each and every one of you, I never just had the chance to talk about Descendants of Zombies. I had the honor of meeting so many incredible people. And even with the thousands of people who have found their way to this YouTube channel and hit my subscribe button and never failed to hit my subscribe button, I still have thousands of people that I have yet to meet. So I've still got my work cut out for me. Do I think the future has never looked brighter or seemed brighter for people like Kylie Contrell, Ruby Turner, and Malia Baker when it comes to these conversations we have every single time that I've ever uploaded a video? Sure I do. And I'm very excited to be in this chair sitting in front of this microphone. Every single time I push record, I may never know what I'm about to say, but that's what makes these videos so fun, is that you perceive these videos with an open heart and an open mind, and you have fun every single time that you ever push record, because it makes your videos that much more unpredictable and fun for everybody who is a fan of Descendants of Zombies. How many of you get ready for school every day, and you do your hair, you pick out your outfit, and you listen to that song, Life is Sweeter When You Are? If you say yes, or you're saying yes to this question, the thing is, it's because you love these songs, and you draw inspiration from these songs. And from the first time ever that you heard a song like Life is Sweeter When You Are, or even read or Get Your Hands Dirty, there may have only been 8 songs that made up a score of Descendants: The Rise of Red, but it was a very powerful score. And it was a very different score that made you feel as if you were part of something special for the first time ever. Because many of you were first introduced to the Descendants of Zombies franchise because of these songs. It was never because of the original trilogy, because many of you are flashing back to when Descendants was represented by an era that was defined through a trilogy, and characters like Mel and Evie and Carlos, who will forever and always be missed. And I've forever and always told you guys that as long as I have a breath in me, of course, Cameron Boyce's legacy will forever and always live on. I will do whatever I can to make sure that his legacy forever and always remains a part of our lives, because his character in Descendants meant a whole lot more to this franchise than he was ever given credit for. To be honest with you guys, when Cameron Boyce passed away, I think that the world really shifted and their opinions really changed, because I think that more people gained a greater appreciation for Cameron Boyce's contributions. And the reason why I talk about Cameron Boyce as often as I can and as frequent as I can on every video that I've ever uploaded is because I know how much he means to each and every one of you. And I give you my word, if you give me a chance with every video that I've ever uploaded here, I will show you the appreciation and the heart and the dedication and everything that goes with talking about Cameron Boyce. Because I think that these characters have forever and always been meant to carve legacies, to leave legacies behind, and I think these legacies deserve to be celebrated. I may be saying this because I've always wanted to leave a legacy behind. That has been my ultimate goal in every video that I've ever uploaded on YouTube, every niche that I've ever provided commentary on, or at least attempted to provide commentary on. Because one thing that you will notice is nobody really uploads videos with commentaries and opinions in them on Descendants of Zombies. Pretty much they're just reaction videos that run from 7 to 12 minutes, and they've never really had a purpose. They're just pretty much uploading reaction videos to get reactions out of each and every one of you, and each time they do, they are exceeding their goal. And I think that each time that we shy away from criticism and we show a never-ending love and support for Kylie Contrell unlike anything we've ever seen before in our lives, that's what means so much to us as fans, is that we can come out with so much love and support for these characters and forever and always remember the legacies that people like Cameron Boyce have left behind, because they were destined for greatness. And I really do believe that someone like Cameron Boyce was destined for greatness, and this position that the Descendants of Zombies franchises have eventually been elevated to and forever and always remained on this pedestal is exactly what people like Cameron Boyce would have wanted to have seen happen for the Descendants of Zombies franchise. Because when you think about heart that Cameron Boyce illustrated and brought forth for the Descendants of Zombies franchise, nobody had ever believed in the Descendants of Zombies as much as what Cameron Boyce did. And that's why he went on to touch the hearts of not only fans of Descendants of Zombies, but everybody he ever had the chance to really step into a room with and touch the heart of. Because I remember him on shows like Bunked and Jesse, and I remember his contributions to that show, and I remember being blown away by just how dedicated he was to every role that he ever stepped into. Everything that he was ever a part of, not only bringing the best out of himself, but everybody he ever worked with. And I think that if I was a writer and producer for Descendants of Zombies, even Jesse and Bunked, I would take a moment to reflect on just how much of a powerful impact he's had on so many wonderful lives. And if I would have had the chance as a writer and producer behind the scenes to say thank you, I would have pulled them aside and said, Thank you so much for everything that you believed in when it came to Descendants, Zombies, even Jesse and Bunk, because your contributions will never ever be forgotten. Because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to ensure that the legacies of your favorite stars are never ever forgotten, and they are forever and always celebrated. And through every video that I've ever had the honor of uploading, creating, producing, and editing for each and every one of you, I know that I'm uploading videos about Descendants and Zombies constantly, but I think there can never be enough emphasis on just how powerful of a franchise these franchises have eventually been elevated to and what they've eventually amounted to, because this is incredible. This is unlike anything that I've ever talked about, and I profiled everything from Hannah Montana to the Jonas Brothers to Wizards of Waverly Place, which Beyond Wizards of Waverly Place is a beautiful show in its own right. But the thing is, I remember talking about all these franchises, but I can never remember a franchise or franchises having such a powerful impact on my life and really on my soul, because this has really changed my perspective on life. This is something that I've always wanted to share in with each and every one of you. This is something that I feel very dedicated to, and I felt more dedicated to than ever before in every video that I've ever uploaded, because I've taken a certain pride and a certain passion with me every single time that I've ever talking about Descendants and Zombies, because I think about each and every one of you, and most of the time, at least 95% of that time, I'm speaking from the perspective of a fan, which you can never say enough nice things about, because you guys are the reason why Descendants and Zombies has forever and always existed. You are the reason why I am here, and I will never ever forget any of you for having this opportunity to have come into your lives as your voice of Descendants and Zombies and to have represented you the way that I forever and always have, because I think there are so many people who have never wanted to give Descendants and Zombies a chance, but on the same spectrum, there are so many wonderful people who have believed in this franchise so much, who deserve hope for the foreseeable future when talking about Zombies 5 and Descendants 5 with Wonderland, because nobody really knows what's going to happen. All we're doing is offering you predictions. And if I were to tell you that I knew what was going to happen in Descendants and Zombies, I wouldn't be telling you the truth, because I don't know what's going to happen in Descendants and Zombies. But you know what? That's what makes being a fan of Descendants and Zombies so fun, is that we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what to expect from characters from Encanto and Princess and the Frog. All I know is that I've always felt inspired by New Orleans musicals. So when it came to Princess and the Frog and the story of Tiana and this beautiful story with the Princess and the Frog, it was beautiful. I remember it from 2011. I remember how beautiful the New Orleans musical and how the drew inspiration was from that. And I think these moments should forever and always be celebrated. And that's not forgetting to mention the other characters that we could see their introduction into this franchise, because we still have a long way to go. There is an endless amount of opportunity to create beautiful storylines for Descendants and Zombies, and it's an opportunity we should really seize. I think that when you take a look at all these beautiful animations from The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Little Mermaid, Hercules, and Aladdin, they were beautiful back in the 1990s, and Disney really had inspiration being drawn from classic tales like Aladdin and Cinderella, which they took their own unique spin on, and we've been on an incredible journey for forever. So I think that Descendants and Zombies is a very unique and very different way of celebrating the legacies of all these fairy tale characters, such as Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. But I've had a greater appreciation coming away from all the analogies, all the breakdowns and reviews that I've had the honor of being a part of, and it has everything to do with how much each and every one of you have believed in Descendants and Zombies, and I can never seem to say thank you enough for how much you guys have believed in this show, how much you believed in me as your voice of Descendants and Zombies, because we've really come a long way. We've really gone the distance as fans of Descendants and Zombies, and we've been there for each other, incredibly supportive of each other every step of the way. And if there's one thing that I'm never ever going to forget, it's having the chance and the opportunity to have sit in front of this microphone and recorded videos about Descendants and Zombies for what feels like an eternity. Because I not only got the opportunity to talk about Descendants and Zombies, I had the honor of meeting so many wonderful fans who I've drawn inspiration from continuously, and I've never ever forgotten because of this. This really has been the greatest honor of my life, and that's something you guys have got to know in every video that I've ever uploaded. I think about you guys all the time. You have deserved the best videos about Descendants and Zombies for a very long time, and it's about time somebody came through with their opinions on Descendants and Zombies and shared that with the world, because you should never be afraid to let the world know how you truly feel about Descendants and Zombies and how passionate you are about whatever you're passionate about, because it may not lie with Descendants and Zombies. It may July was something that you feel very passionate about, but you should never be afraid to let the world know how you feel about it. And so many people have really come to the forefront with Descendants and Zombies, coming out of love and support for events like the Worlds Collide Tour and Freya Sky's upcoming World Tour in Australia and Germany, which I'm really excited about for her because of global exposure happening for Freya Sky. It is unbelievable the amount of love and support that I've seen for Freya, and I hope that you guys will continue to come out of love and support for Freya every single time, because songs like Gold's Gone and Silent Treatment are beautiful. Reportedly, she's working on an album. Right now she has an EP, but reportedly she's working on one of her first ever albums. And I'm really excited about this because the reviews of this one, by the time they come in and happen for Freya, are going to be beautiful. And I will have more info on that when it finally drops. But I see a lot of social activity for Freya on social media, which is exactly what I want to see happen for her, because we can never see enough global exposure for somebody like Freya Sky. And of course we have rumors of a Descendants 6 reportedly being in development over at Disney. We don't have any confirmation on this yet, but apparently Alex Cantrell dropped something on his official X account a while back about Descendants 6. We have no confirmation on that, but as soon as I get more info on this, I will drop it on this show. And reportedly, there is a Descendants and Zombies podcast, a Christmas podcast on social media currently right now. I don't have any information on that one either, but this is the unofficial Descendants and Zombies podcast. I can tell you this much, and it has been my honor to host this show for each and every single person who has ever loved Descendants and Zombies. So if you could take a moment to hit my subscribe button and my like button, your love and support for Descendants and Zombies would forever and always be appreciated by me, because I've loved hosting this show for each and every one of you and every single person who has ever believed in this channel from the very beginning. Guys, thank you so much for every bit of love you've shown for this YouTube channel consistently and what seems to be forever and always, because your heart and your dedication that you bring forth and you show for Descendants and Zombies is unlike anything that I've ever experienced in my lifetime. Thank you so much for having watched this video. Don't forget to hit my like and subscribe buttons and to ring my bell every single time that I ever upload a video here on this YouTube channel, because you're not going to want to miss out on any of this action. I've loved producing these videos for everybody, and I hope you love Descendants and Zombies so much. Thank you so much for having watched this video. You, of course, have been watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs, hosted by yours truly, one of the biggest fans of Descendants and Zombies in the entire world. Thank you so much for having watched this video.